Good evening. We want to welcome you out to Friendship West Baptist Church tonight, which we think was going to be a great evening tonight. As many of you know, we have started a lot of work around the issue of mass incarceration, and we're starting to look at the death penalty as a subset of that, and we are partnering with the Texas Coalition to abolish the death penalty. And tonight kicks off many of our efforts that we will continue throughout the summer. And I want to recognize a couple of youth groups that are here also, because we are trying to be very strategic and intentional about engaging our young people in this conversation. And they are seated right over here. We have Dallas Leadership Foundation, and we have Youth Conversion, and we also have some young students from South Oak Cliff here with us tonight. So we're going to continue to do a lot of work with them throughout the summer. And so I'm going to have Kristen Houle come up and talk a little bit about what Texas Coalition to Abolish the Death Penalty, what they do, and how we're going to engage in this work with them. And I also want to thank the Proteus Action League, because their contributions and their foundation made this part of our evening possible tonight.
Thank you, Dinah. Good evening. My name is Kristen Houle, and I have the privilege of serving as the Executive Director of the Texas Coalition to Abolish the Death Penalty. Thank you. We're so thrilled to be here and working in partnership with Friendship West, and appreciate the wonderful leadership that Dr. Haynes and Danielle are providing on this issue here in Dallas. The Texas Coalition is the only statewide grassroots membership organization working solely to end the death penalty in the state of Texas. And we engage in outreach, education, and advocacy aimed at raising awareness of the flaws and failures of the death penalty and mobilizing you, the citizens of Texas, and our elected officials to support abolition. In order to increase awareness of these flaws of our criminal justice system, TCADP organizes and participates in public education events like the one here tonight throughout the entire state of Texas. And we particularly focus on working with civic groups and faith communities. We also prioritize outreach to murder victims' family members and work in partnership with a group called Murder Victims' Families for Reconciliation. And we also do outreach to law enforcement and work with the now 140 people who have been wrongfully convicted and are released from death rows nationwide. That includes 12 people here in Texas, and you're going to hear from one of them tonight. Anthony Graves is an amazing person, and I know you're going to leave here fired up and ready to get involved. So I just wanted to tell you a few ways that you can get involved in this issue with our organization. The Texas Coalition focuses on legislative advocacy, and we've been working with State Representative Jessica Farrar from Houston and a number of other representatives on a bill that calls for abolition of the death penalty. Now, one of the most important actions that you can take is to communicate your concerns about the death penalty to your state legislators. Because the more they hear from their constituents on this issue, the more they're going to have to give serious consideration to doing away with the death penalty in Texas. I encourage you to sign up for our contact list to learn about legislative initiatives, hearings, action on bills, lobby days, and other opportunities to make your voice heard with our elected officials and play an active role in the next legislative session. You can also write, call, visit, and communicate with your county commissioners and the district attorney to express your concerns about the death penalty and its high use here in Dallas and Tarrant counties. You can take action on individual cases of people who are facing execution. In fact, we have an execution scheduled in Texas for this Thursday, the 26th, and another one on May 2nd, and then 4 more after that scheduled now. So you can check our website to learn about ways you can take action by writing to Governor Rick Perry and the Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles, asking them to stop these executions. I again encourage you to sign up for our contact list, our Facebook account, Twitter, to stay up to date about upcoming events in the area, death penalty developments, and opportunities to take action on individual cases. And if you'd like to learn more about our partnership with Murder Victims' Families for Reconciliation, I'd love to talk with you after our event tonight. You're going to find lots more ideas for involvement and resources on a resource table that's back towards the choir room, and then also on the handouts you've received tonight. But I just really thank you all so much for being here, for taking time this evening to come out and learn about this issue. As I said, Anthony is an amazing person. We're so honored to be working with him, and we want to work with all of you to keep the dialogue going on this issue until Texas ends the death penalty once and for all. Thanks.
I want to mention one more thing. We're going to have Michelle Alexander's book, The New Jim Crow, and many of you who were here today during our workshop sessions, Dr. Wright mentioned the New Jim Crow workbook. We'll have that available, as well as the book for sale right out here, and Texas Coalition for the Death Penalty will have a table as well with more literature on it. So now we are excited. I'm going to bring up Dr. Haynes and Anthony Graves so we can begin to have a conversation for the evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your response, and I wanted to make sure that we give Kristen, who again is the director for the Texas Coalition to Abolish the Death Penalty, and all who work with her, our appreciative applause, because their work is something that is needed, and in light of the fact that earlier during the Republican primary campaign season, many of you recall that during one of the initial debates that Governor Perry was asked about the fact that so many people in Texas have been executed, and before he could even respond, that crowd began to applaud the fact that people have been killed right here in the state of Texas. And Governor Perry, of course, took that as kudos for his administration. And I'm sure he could not remember the names of 3 of them who were executed, but that's another point. So if they can applaud for people being executed in Texas, I hope we can applaud for Kristen and the work of the Texas Coalition to abolish the death penalty. I want to just say that I have had the privilege of sharing a few moments with a brother who now qualifies for one of my heroes. Anthony Graves, if you are not familiar with his story, we want to make you familiar with this story this evening. The brother is absolutely amazing in terms of his strength, his spirit, and the way he has processed a perspective on what he's been through, and as a consequence now is using it to bring something positive and purposeful out of something that was downright negative and painful. And so, man, I just want you to know you are one of my heroes. There is Martin King, there is Frederick Douglass, there is Anthony Graves. You've got it like that, and I praise God for you. Anthony Graves served 18 years for a crime he did not commit. And of course, the vast majority of that on death row. This system failed him in a terrible way. 18 years, just kind of process that right quick, okay? 18 years, 18 of the best years of your life. Just process that. I want to know, man, with the rest of us, what happened? I mean, how did you get arrested? Why did you get arrested? Describe the events that led up to your arrest.
Well, that was a crime that happened in a small town, Somerville, Texas. Some of you may know. It was a whole family had been murdered. It was 6 people. 4 of them were children. 1 was a teenage daughter, and 1 was a grandmother. They were shot, stabbed, bludgeoned, gasoline poured over their bodies, and the house was burned down, right? Now, this crime never happened in such a small town, so there was a lot of outrage, right? They wanted somebody to pay for this. As a matter of fact, the mayor said that whoever did it shouldn't even be given a trial. They should be just hanged, okay? That was the mindset. They were so outraged. So that put pressure on the local prosecutor to solve the case. Well, a week later, they had the funeral, and a guy showed up with bandages all over him from burns. After the funeral, the Texas Rangers followed him home because they considered him a person of interest. And when they got there, they asked him if he would talk to them. He agreed, and they took him to the DPS. Well, along the way, according to him, a Jeep was coming off the freeway. And in this Jeep, there was 4 young brothers. And he thought I was one of them in the Jeep, which when they investigated, they found out that wasn't true. But that didn't stop them, because when they told him after over 13 or 14 hours of intense interrogation, calling him a baby killer and telling him that they would shoot him in the head and who would care about a baby killer, they come back and said, well, if you just give us the name of the person that was with you, because we know you didn't do it by yourself, we will let you go. So according to this man, because he seen a Jeep and thought that I was in the Jeep, he just called the first name that came to mind, which was my name. And only a couple of hours after that, I was arrested and charged with capital murder. Notice, I said only a couple of hours, which means that they never investigated his story. They came and arrested me, charged me with capital murder, wrongfully convicted me, and sentenced me to death, where I sit for 12 and a half years and 2 execution dates. That's why I'm here today.
So the only evidence they had was the testimony of this person who just called your name out, picked you out of 4 men who we thought were in this truck.
Yes. I mean, they tried to manufacture something else, but that was the thing, that this man lied on me. That was enough for them. I was a young black man. I could not defend myself. Even though I had alibi witness, they threatened them that if they come forward, they would charge them with capital murder. She ended up running out the courtroom crying, and for the DA to go back and say, well, why she isn't here to testify, which was he was trying to say I was lying about my whereabouts.
So then the person who was an alibi witness for you, they literally threatened her.
Yes, sir.
Wow, what a system. Talk to me about what you went through during those 18 years. And before you even do that, how did they finally come to the conclusion that you were innocent?
Well, the 18 years started off in just total disbelief, okay? I mean, I didn't live my life like that. I had 3 children. I worked. I was just an ordinary Joe, living my life. And then just like that, they changed it. The system has that much power to just change your life on a dime like that. And they just changed my life. I was in jail. I woke up at my mom's home that morning, and that night I laid down in jail. So it was just total disbelief. But I'm naive, right? I want to believe that the system does work.
Right.
I want to believe that because I didn't do it, that they will find out and will release me. But the harsh reality is that they didn't care. They were seeking a conviction. They had a young black man who was totally defenseless. I couldn't afford their resources to defend myself. And to them, that was a victory, because now they can convict this young black man, sentence him to death row. None of you are going to question it, because they don't see none of you out there questioning it, and that's okay. We all go on like it's just another day. Well, I'm here to tell you, not in my name anymore. Not in your name anymore. They are killing your sisters, your brothers, your friends, and in your name. And you have to say, not in my name no more.
Okay. One last question. What is Anthony Graves doing now as you move forward? You talk about how you're going all over the country, you're going all over the world, really. What is Anthony Graves doing now, and what can we do with Anthony Graves so that we say, not in my name?
Well, Anthony, I'm doing a lot of things, but, I'm a motivational speaker. I educate, I advocate, and I train about the death penalty based on my experiences. I travel all over the world to many different universities, and I try to educate the kids. I try to let them know that this is all being done in your name, and it's going to fall on your shoulders, and I'm hoping that you do something about it and change it. I am doing a one-man play. I'm finna put together a one-man play where I can travel around and share my story in a play format so that students can get it. I am writing books. I am doing training videos for attorneys and for inmates to let them know what they're really facing. So that if that attorney up there BSing them,
Right.
they will know what the truth is. You know, I'm trying to attack it from many angles, man. And all I'm just saying is the best way, first of all, is to get physically involved. But if nothing else, please follow and encourage me because I'm not giving up, you know.
My brothers and my sisters, let's thank God for this witness, for this strength, for this marvelous human being, my hero, Anthony Graves. God bless you, man. God bless you. God bless you. Amen. Thank you very much.